Okay, so things are moving incredibly fast. The United States and Israel have launched a massive military operation against Iran. It's an incredibly volatile situation. So in this explainer, we're going to break down what we know: the initial attacks, Iran's immediate response, and the huge, critical uncertainty that's at the heart of this whole escalating crisis.
The entire conflict kicked off with this really dramatic announcement from the U.S. president. Now, when you frame an operation as a way to stop a wicked, radical dictatorship, that tells you this isn't just some limited strike. No, this is a declaration. It's an intention to fundamentally change the regime, and that just raises the stakes immensely for everyone involved.
So to really get our heads around this, we're going to walk through it step by step. First, what are the official war aims? What are they trying to do? Second, who exactly got targeted in these first strikes? Third, how did Iran hit back? Fourth, why are we getting so much conflicting information? And finally, the big one, what on earth happens next?
All right, so let's start with those official objectives. What have the United States and Israel actually said they're trying to achieve with this, well, unprecedented military campaign?
At a glance, it looks like they're on the same page, right? Stop the nuclear program, dismantle the missiles. But the language, the framing here tells a really different story. The U.S. goals are just sweeping: topple the Islamic Republic, raise, annihilate. Wow, that is the language of total regime change. Israel's stated goals, on the other hand, sound a bit more defensive: removing existential threats, countering the axis of resistance, which is what they call Iran's network of proxy militias. It's a subtle but really crucial distinction for understanding what each side might do next.
But here's the thing. This operation went way beyond just military sites. The absolute core of their strategy was a direct attempt to wipe out Iran's entire senior leadership. It's what's known as a decapitation strike.
And when I say they went to the top, I mean they went straight to the very top. What you're looking at here is satellite imagery, and the target was the personal compound of the supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. The fact that multiple buildings in his own complex were destroyed, well, that's about as direct and symbolic an attack as you can possibly make.
And the scale of this decapitation attempt, it's just staggering. Look at this list. We're talking about the heads of national defense, the powerful Revolutionary Guards, the Defense Ministry. All of them are listed as presumed killed. This is designed to paralyze Iran's entire command structure. But the most critical piece of information on this whole slide is that top line. The supreme leader status? Disputed. That one word is now the fuel for this entire crisis.
And of course, these high-level strikes have had absolutely devastating consequences for ordinary people. This number, 108, that's the reported death toll from a single strike that hit a girls' primary school in the city of Manab. It's just a stark, tragic reminder of the immense human cost of all this.
So did Iran just take this lying down? Not a chance. The response was swift and it was widespread. Retaliatory strikes were launched almost immediately, and they weren't just aimed at Israel. Within hours, this thing had exploded into a full-blown regional conflict.
The first wave of retaliation was a pretty clear signal. This number represents the 35 missiles that Iran reportedly fired directly at Israel. It was a message, plain and simple, that Tehran was not intimidated and was absolutely prepared for a direct state-on-state fight. But the retaliation didn't stop there. Iran also went after American assets all over the Middle East. By striking U.S. bases in all of these key allied nations, Iran dramatically widened the battlefield. This wasn't a bilateral fight anymore. This was now a massive regional war, and it's basically daring the U.S. to escalate even further. And just in case anyone thought this was a one-and-done response, well, this quote from a top Iranian commander makes their intentions crystal clear. They are signaling a sustained campaign aimed at nothing less than the definitive defeat of their enemies. That isn't the language of de-escalation, it's the language of endurance.
So this brings us to maybe the most crucial point right now: the intense confusion, the fog of war. We're seeing so many conflicting reports about the most critical events. The battle for the narrative is just as fierce as the battle on the ground.
And the fate of the supreme leader is right at the heart of all this confusion. Just look at this. These are two completely different realities being presented. On one side, U.S. and Israeli officials are citing growing signs that he's dead, with the U.S. president himself saying he feels that is a correct story. But on the other side, Iranian sources are insisting, nope, he was moved to a secure location, he's alive. The truth of this single fact could determine the future of this entire conflict.
And here you have Iran's official explanation for these reports. They're framing the claims of Khamenei's death as mental warfare, basically a psychological operation designed to destabilize the country and demoralize its people.
All of this, the strikes, the retaliation, the confusion, it all leads to the most critical question of all. With Iran's leadership in total chaos, whether that's real or just perceived, who is actually in charge right now?
Now, officially, Iran has a process for this. Article 111 of their constitution lays out how this temporary leadership council is supposed to be formed. It's meant to be an orderly transition. But let's be realistic. In the middle of a massive war, with communication lines down and other top leaders potentially dead, can a constitutional process like this even function? That is a huge question mark.
And so that leaves us with this final critical question. These strikes have created a massive power vacuum at the very heart of the Iranian state. With a regional war raging and no clear hand on the tiller in Tehran, the most dangerous and unpredictable part of all of this might not be what has already happened, but who is about to seize control in the chaos to come.